Is a bat a type of bird? For my anchor text, I chose Bats by Gail Gibbons. This book informs us of how bats live their everyday life, what they eat, what they hunt, where they live, where they sleep, what they do during the day and during the night, and it also informs us of the anatomy of the bat so we know what each and every part of the bat is used for. The illustrations in this book are very informing, and also every single page is a new type of bat, and it points out every different feature that these bats have. So I think the kids will be very intrigued and want to know more about the bats on each and every page. For my next book that I chose in my text set was Stellaluna. This was my favorite book out of all the books that I have chosen, and I think the kids will really enjoy this as much as I did. Because of this, I chose to do an activity that tied right into Stellaluna in the book. So I did a comprehension activity, and it lets the kids write down in a bat-shaped figure the beginning, middle, and ending. So after this activity, you as a teacher will be able to know, did the students comprehend and understand what they needed to from this book? And the students will also be able to sit down and think about everything that they just read and put it all onto paper and make sure that they know that they're comprehending and know that they're understanding. For my next book, I chose Zipping, Zapping, Zooming Bats, which is also a nonfiction book that is very intriguing. The next one is Bat Loves the Night, which is a fiction book. The next one is Bats, and it's a National Geographic kids book, but the pictures that are in there are live pictures that have been taken, and I think the kids will really like them and want to look at the pictures more than the words. And one of our activities that we learned during this whole school year was that pictures can tell a story, and I think it will help the kids really learn more about the bats. For my next book, I chose Night Song, which is a fiction book. And for my last book, I chose All About Bats, and it's the DK Reader. So a big thing that on my activities was vocabulary, and all my vocabulary words were nocturnal, mammal, pup, hibernation, echolocation, and roost. Each of these words are in each of the 6 or 7 books that I had just showed you and talked about. Each one gets talked about in each book and gets defined so that the kids know what they mean and that their knowledge gets broadened. For my activities of vocabulary, I did a partner activity where you write, define, use, and draw. The students will complete an activity with a partner where they write a vocabulary word that is on the screen, and then they'll write the definition of each one and use it in a complete sentence and draw a picture based on the word. I thought the drawing picture would be best just because we got to look at a lot of pictures of bats, and especially when the words were used, they can kind of correlate the picture to how the word was used. For the second vocabulary activity, I chose the vocabulary matching game. This activity can be played individually or with a group or with just one other partner. It's a variation of the game, concentration, or memory. So you're just matching the words to the definition or matching the words to a picture that is given to them. I talked about comprehension earlier in the presentation about the Stellaluna story map. But another comprehension activity that I'm giving out is the bat facts and opinion or categorizing. This contains strips stating facts and strips containing sentences stating opinions, and they're all placed into a bag. While sitting in a circle, students take turns picking one strip out of the bag, reading it, and deciding which category it goes under, fact or opinion. Discussion follows each one. This lets you know as a teacher if they're comprehending whether they're the nonfiction book and the fiction book, and if it comes from an opinion or just not a fact at all and it was just made up, or came from the nonfiction book and that it was an actual fact and that they learned this and they know that this is true and this happens in everyday life. And for the 2 activities that I did with fluency are partner reading, which is an I read, you read, and we read strategy to improve fluency, which we have talked about a lot in this semester, and how that when they read by themselves and then someone else reads it to them and then they read together, they tend to become better readers and read faster and with more emotion because they see somebody else doing it. And then for my other activity in fluency is antiphonal reading. This is a whole group strategy similar to core reading. Students are divided into groups and are assigned a certain part or page to read in unison as a group when it becomes their turn or are cued to do so. So it's really similar to core reading, and I think that the kids will really like all these activities because they're not individual activities, and a lot of them are groups, and they get to learn a lot of new things about bats, and I hope that they enjoy it. Thank you.